Okay.
My Lord Marquis, welcome back. I am glad to see you hale and whole.
I met with your third chair, Cyril. He bade me deliver his findings to you.
Thank you, my lord. He remained in Ash?
He died protecting the villagers from an echo. I buried him in Mickelberg. I'm sorry that I couldn't save him.
If you could not save him, no one could.
The villagers, they were believers in this savior cult. They prayed to their god that they might be unburdened of their wills. Then an ether flood came, and their wish was granted. Your brother sacrificed himself that they might live, even knowing that that life was death by another name.
Then he perished defending liberty. A hero's end. For the right to choose how one dies is no less sacred than the right to choose how one lives.
Sid would agree. He wanted to build a world where people could die on their own terms.
A noble ambition. To die for one's cause is the most perfect expression of one's faith. It matters not how misguided others might judge one's decision to be. Only that the decision is one's own. We live according to the teachings of our order. We believe in them, we protect them, and yes, we die for them. For better or worse, that is our creed.
But he didn't die for your creed. He died to save them. And you still believe that what he did was right.
I believe that he believed it was. We of the Undying are not slaves, but willing servants. And this was his will, the ultimate expression of it.
All right. I'd like to know this man's name, Cyril. To know the names of all the Undying who've fallen in the line of duty. They died serving my house. It's only right that I remember them. That is my duty.
Of course. I shall fetch the Book of Martyrs at once. My lord, it has been, and shall ever be, the greatest honor of my life to serve House Rosfield. Though our duties may differ, yours is no less important. I pray with all my heart for your success. And were they here, I have no doubt but that every one of my fallen brothers and sisters would feel the same.
Level up. Yeah. And they opened my mind and elect 6 sideboards.
The third chair's report is a treasure trove of information regarding the beliefs and traditions of the Circle of Malleus. Considering the Circle's connections to Ultima, it will surely be an invaluable resource in divining his true nature. Our brother did his duty well.
I shall have the Book of Martyrs fetched from the requiratory forthwith, my lord. But prithee, do not let me keep you should you have more pressing matters to attend to. The volume will be waiting for you when you next return.
Shizuke, Shizuke ni Suyo ni ai wa. Nossa. Eu ainda não ganhei o troféu de coisa de fazer todas as caças. Ah, spawn uma nova. It makes sense, I guess. Shizuka, Shizuka ni orohe aia. Bam 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 bam. Jesus, eu me bué de cartas. Before we depart, Ifrit, you have my sincerest gratitude for reuniting me with Master Hippocrates, that I might embark upon this most important of journeys, my heart free of regret. Though in these past few months I have come to realize that the longer I spend in the company of you and your brother, the deeper I find myself in your debt. We must swiftly see to the menace that is Ultima, if not to save the world, to save me from my eternity of recompense. Dion. Safe returns. Thank you, Clive, for ever indulging the whims of this dundering old soul. I am ashamed that far too many years I allowed stubbornness and fear to keep me from something so simple as letting a friend know how proud I was of him. Your intervention has lifted a heavy pall from my heart. Perdim. Ah, perhaps upon your triumphant return from the skies you might be inclined to page the quill I gifted you. There are many of us who would hear a first-hand account of your time with the Holy Prince, myself included. Hippocrates second. That Witcher's... Oh, Witchers, mas eu estou a jogar The Witcher. That which conquers all. Here, not long removed from when you last placed yourself between us and peril, I sit and pen yet another letter in which I try and find the words to somehow express the gratitude of an entire town. Still, something feels different about our latest triumph. Where in the past we lean ever so heavily upon your good graces, this time we found strength elsewhere, in ourselves. Our hardship has shown us that which should have been apparent all along. We are not as different as we want to believe. Does a peasant love his homeland any less than a noble? Does a bearer love his family any less than another man does his own? It is this love that has united us and given us true strength. Should every troll Akashic bandit and brigand in a realm come changing our gates, we will not fret, we will not falter, we will fight, and we will win. Isabel. Preciso de água. Okay. A new day. I am not so foolish to believe that a single shaming at the hands of the town urchins can dispel a lifetime of hatred built up in one's heart, just as a pot cannot be made clean by reminding it of its crime. It takes effort, persistence, and more often than not, a stiff brush and bucket of eye. But more than that, it takes time. Fortunately, your courage and leadership has granted us just that. We must now decide whether to embrace or to waste it. A wise man once said, "The night is always darkest before dawn." It is a good thing that I count one who burns so bright amongst my friends. Lubur. A note of thanks, my Lord Marquess. I write to thank you for the kind consideration you have shown for those whose names are written within the pages of the Book of Martyrs. I know that it would move them deeply to know that the first shield of the Phoenix laments their passing. Though each and every member of our order stands ready to sacrifice their lives in service of the Phoenix, I do not doubt that those who are taken before their time go with regret for the long years of duty left undone. That they should live on in the memory of a proud son of House Rossfield, such as yourself, shall surely go some way to soothing their sorrows. May the phoenix flame burn ever in your heart, serial bearer of the burning quill. Ok, tenho uma caça e tenho coisas, recompensas. Deixa-me a cotovelada.
Twinside's hundreds of leagues away. That'd mean the crystal.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you back, sir.
A new dawn, unsigned. Every epic starts with a single word, every symphony a single note. This is but the beginning, and forever shall your legend be told. Forever shall your legacy be sung.
Here you are.
Careful whisper. Obtain all available items from your patrons.
Come again. I may. More for ya.
Shizukai, Shizukani. Mais duas caças. Alright. The Grim Reaper. There is a saying among the Imperial soldiers of the Northridge garrison. Steer clear of the down tower lest the spectre's sickle rip your root. They speak in typically uncouth terms of the thrall that dwells within the Ether Flood, one whose frightful aspect and command over lesser minions would appear to mark him as a high-ranking member of his species. The Grim Reaper. Deixa eu apontar aqui. Outra vez? Alguém liga. Night of the Sledden Heart. Most pilgrims to the holy capital of Oriflamme pass through the penitent's gates on the road from the royal meadows. Of late, however, a knight in shining armor has elected to station himself beside this entrance, accusing any and all passers-by of being Sid the Outlaw, the one who led Prince Dion down the path to destruction, and challenging them to a duel to the death. Vamos primeiro ao Grim Reaper, que está em Sunbrack. Northridge. Chizuko Toita no. Tá aqui. Shizukai,
The garrison did away with posting guards here at the wall. Now any man, woman or branded can pass freely.
Those things didn't fight like men.
Found him. Prince of Death.
Not another one.
so hard. My god. Burn to the darkest depths of the cell. Farewell. Esqueci-me de gastar os pontos. Desculpa, claro, eu interrompi-te de algo completamente. Ok. Agora, supostamente a última caça do jogo, que também é aqui em Sunbreak. No Royal Meadows. Onde é que é o Royal Meadows? Eu nunca sei. Shizuka, soon. Wait. Tem uma coisa aqui. Really? Mãe, estás na casa de banho? Por que a porta está fechada? Ok.
Run like the wind.
We're going up, it's our mama.
Quiet.
Mayday, mayday, the ship is slowly sinking. They think I'm crazy, but they don't know the feeling. They're all around me, circling like vultures. They wanna break me and wash away my colors, wash away my colors. Com licença, eu sou de passagem.
Thanks, Gal.
Knight of the Splendid Heart.
Outlaw! The one who drove his highness to madness! On your knees!
He has heard. It doesn't look like he's willing to listen. Too slow.
Oh my god, my god. Couldn't be. Oh my god. I don't help. Help. Help me.
Can't go on.
Ah. Phantom March. My god. Oh my god. My god. This man is a maniac. Hunter hunted, clear the hunt part. I did it! What about you?
Damn it. Dion would have been glad to have you back at his side.
Royal meadows. Here once affluent farmers now struggle to grow anything more than bramble and bird. The ether that once nourished their fields long lost with the fall of Drake's head. We're going back, 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 it's our moment. Bem, não há nenhum troféu a dizer quando é que eu fiz todas as missões secundárias, por isso eu vou presumir que já fiz todas as missões secundárias do jogo. Sei que não consegui todas as curiosidades, mas eu, para ser sincero, eu estou com preguiça de apanhar todas as curiosidades do jogo, so... Eu nem sei como é que eu consigo as outras curiosidades, apesar das curiosidades de só as conseguias ter ao fazer as missões secundárias, mas... It appears I was wrong. Faltou-me uma, what the fuck? Será que eu só consigo a última curiosidade acabando o jogo? Maybe. Vale Signboard, the emblem of the Vale Northreach far-famed House of Ill Repute. The town is the gateway to the imperial capital of Oriflamme, where the waves of old money and new lap against the opposing sides of the Great Wall. However, the Vale's proprietor Isabel knows it best to safe haven in a storm. The town that took in her and the man she loved when the rest of the world shunned them. Briar's Kiss signboard, the emblem of the Briar's Kiss, the finest forge in Dalimil, run by its pukish and precocious young forge master, Lubor. He inherited both his forge and the role of desert hare from his predecessor, the original Renusa Dalimil. Though the morality of Dalimil he won entirely by his own merit. Cliff's here signboard, the emblem of the Undying's headquarters in Tabor. The Undying are a secret society sworn to serve House Rosfield, and more particularly the dominance of the Phoenix that are born into the Rosfield line. Such is their acolytes' faith in a Phoenix, they will gladly surrender their lives if it should be for the benefit of their master. Rusted Battle Helm. Archduke Kelwin's helm, worn in his victorious campaign to quell the Northern uprising and later laid to rest upon his memorial stone. Now it sleeps in Clive's chambers, a constant reminder of the bravery and selflessness of the man in whose footsteps he and his brother mean to follow. Snow Daisy Garland, a fragrant diadem hand-woven by Jill from flowers picked on the shores of Orip East Bay. The garland rekindles memories of a more innocent time and speaks of a love that can never fade. Model airship meets dangerous dream of flight immortalized in miniature. Though the experiment ended in failure, Mead has allowed Clive to keep hold of the model so that once her renown has grown, he might sell a piece for an exorbitant amount of gil. The Trinity Accord, signed in Port Isolde by representatives from Rosaria, Dalmagia, and Zambrak, this mutual accord sets the stage for a new age in Storm, if not officially, then at least in spirit. Stolas Quill, Lorsmer and Hippocrates, his best-loved writing implement, whose ink has spent many a learned tome. Deixa eu só beber uma aguinha. Molhei-me. It is said that the long quills of the Stolas become imbued with the wishes it hears over its long lifetime, the words just waiting to pour out onto the page. So should the day come that Clive puts down his sword and picks up the pen, he shall not find his one and only insurmountable enemy in writer's block. Scholar's Bonnet, Vivian Netflix academic cap awarded to her upon her graduation from the University of Canberra. Now, Vivian shares her learning with Clive, the gift of the Bonnet serving as a pledge that so long as they remain together, her knowledge shall be as much his as it is her own. Wintermead, a gift from Gav. This ponted potable is made from honey collected in the North Orphan Territory's short summers and fermented slowly across the next 6 months. Despite an obvious inability to hold this drink, Gav has insisted that he be allowed to share the bottle when the time comes to crack the seal. E por último, porque eu não encontrei o último por algum motivo, Jared's sparring sword, Clive's old sparring sword salvaged by Torgal in the aftermath of the Iron Blood invasion hidden at Clive's original hideaway, the Rockery. It is a reminder of who Clive once was and who has become, as well as of the unbreakable bond between lifelong friends. Okay. Vou ver
First the
aqui.
skies, then the crystal.
To what do I owe the honor? Saying
Tem
for
coisas
India.
que eu lhe posso perguntar. Thank God.
Don't
Eu
waste
não,
my time.
eu não
You ain't
consegui
got the
fazer
stuff.
isto. Quer dizer, calma. Calma, há uma possibilidade. Não há uma possibilidade. Onde é que foi para o rei do Ragnarok? I can't make Ragnarok. Então que se lixe. Também não queria fazer esta arma.
And
Deixa eu ver o diálogo que ele
trouble with your
tem.
gear, or
Ask
crack
about
the crystal?
origin. Crack the crystal, kill a god, save the world. I miss anything? No, that's pretty much the plan.
Not a very good one.
Not a very good one if
But
you
then-
ask me. But then, I can't say I've had much patience killing gods. Now forging kits to kill a god, that I might be able to help you with. Reckon it's the least I can do after all you've given us. And it's more than enough. You can thank me when you get back.
See that sword of yours stays oiled.
I was wondering when next you'd visit.
Ask about Dion.
I well recall.
I well recall the time I spent at the Imperial Palace instructing the young prince on the history of our realm. He was quite unlike the other noble-born children I had fought, not only for the keenness with which he listened, but for the earnestness of his conviction. He truly believed that it was the Empire's duty to serve the people and was determined to study the past that he might not repeat its mistakes, which is the reason why what befell Twinside weighs so heavily on his soul. He must live with the consequences, and I fear it will take more than merely time to heal such
It will
wounds.
take forgiveness.
It will take forgiveness, not from you or me, nor his countrymen, or even his late father.
From
no,
himself.
From himself. Only then might his flower bloom again. Ask about origin.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes, you have arrived at a solution then. Dion will carry us. Indeed, a feat befitting the final act. I congratulate myself that I shall live long enough to see it, a feat in itself for a man of my years. But to be serious, it is no small thing to march against fate, Clive. You must be certain of your footing, lest the winds of destiny divert you from your course. Are you certain of your footing, Clive? I am.
Then go.
Then go and do what you must.
I have compiled some new entries, if you would like to see them.
Nossa, vou ter bué para ler, né? Oh my god.
I have quite the find for you today.
Nossa, vou ter de ler bué. Reverie, an impossibly tall tower in Central Ash that seems to pierce the very heavens. It was built by Ultima when he first arrived in Valistia. From its height he examined the flow of ether through the land, and thereby determined the optimum placement for the mother crystals. The scenes of Zemekis, an incident in which the Fallen launched an assault on the mother crystal Zemkis to claim its power, and in so doing stoked the ire of Ultima himself. In response, the self-proclaimed god destroyed the crystal, leaving behind both a great yawning crater and a cautionary legend that has since spread throughout Valistia. Dominant. Those within whom sleeps the power of an icon. The Dominants are but the stepping stone in the creation of Ultima's perfect vessel, Mythos. When Ultima sowed the seeds of humanity, he imbued those assigned to protect each mother crystal with an elemental affinity, a power that would amplify over the generations until the icons eventually emerged. Though the memory of their power remains even after it is absorbed into Mythos, it takes an increasing toll upon their persons to summon it. The Fallen, an ancient civilization that thrived some 1,000 years before the present day. No direct records of the Fallen remain. Early legends in the modern corpus speak of them as the men of men of Magitech, the pinnacle of whose magical technology was the airship. Enormous cities that soared through the skies. Com- Comparisons of the ruins of these airships and other ancient structures connected to Ultima reveal slight but marked differences, suggesting the former is but a close copy of the latter. Alas, it seemed the pursuit of Ultima's most closely guarded secrets led to their downfall, when they sent their fleet against Zamekis and unscathed in a tragedy that saw the air civilization fall. The Ultima civilization, the ancient civilization of the godlike Ultima Collective, the discovery of magic helped them to thrive, but came at a terrible cost. The onset of the Blight. After the cities fell and the air people perished, the few survivors fled to the untouched land of Alestia to lay the groundwork for their future revival. The apolatory beneath Phoenix Gate and the tower of Reverie and Walud are both relics of their civilizations and far predate those of the fallen. A red stone, a mysterious ceramic tablet that stands in a hideaway. Though it closely resembles a relic of the fallen, the way in which it reacts to Clive's presence and urges him to unlock his hidden potential suggests some connection to Ultima. It is likely that this stone, as well as other towers of similar construction that dot the landscape, were created by the creature before he entered his slumber, in order to aid in the perfection of his vessel Mythos. Obelisk, ancient technology of the Ultima Collective set in place upon their advent to Valestia in order to guide the flow of ether toward the mother crystals, that the land's life force might be harvested all the more readily. The obelisks are separate entities to the mother crystals themselves, so the latter's destruction does not affect the former's function. After Ultima Cast Primogenesis, the resulting imbalance in the ether made these obelisks glow all the brighter. The children of Tsamekis, the tribe who once dwelt in the land surrounding the lost Mother Crystal of Tsamekis. This Mother Crystal communicated directly with Origin, from whence Ultima kept watch of the world from his slumber, and so those people who lived around it had a closer relationship with their creator than most. It was they who founded the Circle of Malleus to keep the words of their Lord and fortune Savior alive. After the tragedy of Tsamekis and the first fall of humanity, the few survivors of the children of Tsamekis fled to the outer continent, where they continued to worship their god and await the day when they would join him in paradise. The Savior myth. Among the teachings of the Circle of Malleus is the story of the Lord Almighty delivered unto his children a prophecy of their future salvation before hiding himself away in the heavens, a myth that lived on in many of the folk religions that would later supplant it. Though long considered to be naught but a legend, it is possible that this reflects a real historical event. Ultima's final words to his humanity before he entered hibernation deep beneath Alestia. The few remaining sources disagree on Ultima's precise wording, but on 4 points they all align: that on the same future day of reckoning, the incarnation of the Lord would appear among mankind and remake the world. That the advent of this incarnation would be heralded by the emergence of several heavenly servants of great might, that the Lord's faithful should rally these servants together in order to bring the incarnation into being, and that for their loyalty they would be rewarded with the greatest gladness. Ultima's trolls, soulless automata largely composed of ether whose only motivation is to see that their creator's will is done. Ultima gave them life upon first arriving in Valestia and immediately tasked them with defending the realm's shores from any outside forces that he might seek to interfere in his endeavors. The deity now employs them solely to test the strength and durability of his self-proclaimed vassal, Mythos. The Journal of Moss. The Annals of Moss the Chronicle, a scholar of Palestinian history who unearthed many of the buried secrets of Ultima and the Circle of Malleus. Shortly after he encountered the young Hippocrates in the outer continent and inspired the boys on pursuit of learning, Moss returned to the Twins, where his long years of wandering from ruin to relic in pursuit of the vestiges of Alessia's past finally drew to a close.
You wish to study the tones?
Jill Warwick, dominant of Shiva and trusted confidant of Clive, leader of the new hideaway. Born a princess of the Northern Territories, Jill was made a ward of Rosaria after a father in Silverman's incessant raids were quelled by a duchy. She entrusted her icon to Clive after he was bested by King Barnabas, and he might have the strength to fight their fate to the last. Torgal, Clive's faithful friend. After the two were separated in a tragedy of Phoenix Gate, Torgal continued to search for his missing master, sniffing out anything that bore Clive's scent and carrying it home to their secret island hideaway. It was during one of his forays on the mainland that he encountered Sid, who took the lovely Torgal in, fashioning an anklet for the lovelorn pup which he treasures to this day. Dion Lesage, dominant of Bahamut, Warden of Light. Before he joined the Dragoons, Dion spent his youth studying that he might assist his father in ruling the Empire. On returning with Clive and Joshua to the hideaway, he is reunited with his old tutor Hippocrates, who inspires in him a renewed determination to bring Ultima's evil to an end. Gav, Sid's faithful scout, now one of Clive's closest and most trusted allies. Born the youngest son of a large family, he had always longed to be a big brother. However, just as his mother was ready to give birth to the sister he had impatiously awaited, his entire family were slain in an imperial raid on his village. Now he has a new family in the members of the hideaway and swears to protect them where his younger self could not. Midadol Telmon, adoptive daughter of Sid, who saved her from the streets as a girl and raised her as his own. And raised her as his own he did, the young Mid following in her father's footsteps in perfecting his design for the mithril engine. Though she fears the completed engine might be used for ill if the designs were to fall into the wrong hands, the dream of flight that she and her father shared is too great to see consigned to the dustbin of history, and so she continues to labor that one day that dream might become reality. Hippocrates' second Hippiporius, the hideaway's resident historian. Before meeting Sid and moving in with his band of outlaws, Hippocrates dwelled in much grander surroundings, the imperial palace where he served as tutor to Prince Dion. He bears a deep and lingering affection for his former charge, and on reuniting with Dion in a hideaway, presented him with the gift of a wild iron tail that he might be reminded of the goodness within him and not punish himself and Dolly. Vivian Ninetails, a scholar and strategist who makes her home in a hideaway, offering her insight to Clive that he might better understand the lay of the land. Once a professor at the University of Denver, her dogged pursuit of the truth earned her the eternity of some of her less scrupulous colleagues. After learning of a plot on her life, she fled to the hideaway and has been slowly but surely warming to her new surroundings ever since. Doris, captain of the Cursebreakers who directs their bearer liberating operations. He learns that Chadwick, fellow bearer and brother-in-arms who helped her escape her former master, met his ultimately end in a cursed deaths of Balmung Dark. He died the same hero he was in life, having fought until the bitter end to save the life of a young bearer girl, though he swears to keep fighting herself that his legacy might live on. Ember, a cursebreaker in training who wishes to make of himself a scout that he might follow in the footsteps of his idol Gav. Though his tests did not proceed entirely smoothly, he showed enough promise to warrant being accepted into the ranks, for now. Quinton, the inscrutable landlord of Lost Wings Tavern. After the village was swallowed by a Nefer flood, he and the survivors of his Lost Wing family labored to build a new village in Godland's Pales. However, Clive convinces him to join his uncle Triunity and put his oratorial skills who use not merely in laying Lost Wing but in restoring order to the entire realm. Isabel, proprietress of the Vale Northwich most house of ill repute. Before coming to Northwich, she was Carla, a courtesan to the nobility in a crystalline dominion. However, she was forced to flee when she fell in love with a bearer. The Vale took them in, and though her love was not to survive, her gratitude to the people of Northwich lives on to this day. Lubor, forge master of the Briar's Kiss, the finest smith in Dalimil and mayor of the town. After his bearerhood was revealed, he was almost driven from Dalimil by the disapproving townspeople. However, they were convinced to change their preconceptions after Lubor led the defense of the town from a horde of Akashic bandits, and with the support of both the town guard and the merchants guild, he won the mayoralty. Elwyn in Rossfield, late Archduke of the Grand Duchy of Rosario and father of Clive and Joshua. During his reign, he strove to bring an end to the mistreatment of bearers and his people's reliance on magic, a mission that he knew would meet with fierce opposition from the court nobility and would not be achievable within his lifetime. That his sons might follow in his footsteps, he fashioned for them a pair of matching armbands to give them strength when all stood against them. Cyril, a senior member of the Undying known as the Bearer of the Burning Quill. He and his order devote their lives to the service of the Phoenix and do not fear death so long as it comes to the course of their duties. Though Clive takes exception to what appears at first glance a pointless waste of human life, the two come to see each other eye to eye, Cyril expressing a deep gratitude for the regard Clive shows his fallen comrades. Byron Rossfield, younger brother of the late Archduke Eldwin and warden of Port Isolde, together with Field Marshal Eugene Havel and Master Quinton of Lostwing, he founds the Trinity, an accord that sets out how the nobles, armies, and common folk of Alistia shall come together to see the crisis that blights the realm, want of food, water, security, and shelter, ended and order restored. The High Cardinal, first and foremost of the five cardinals who made up the Council of Elders, second only to the Holy Emperor in the imperial government. After the fall of the Crystalline Dominion and the collapse of said government, His Eminence reappeared in Northreach, planning to turn the town into a new capital for a new Sumbrak. However, when the people rallied behind Isabel instead, he realized that he must work with the common folk, not outlord over them. Sabine, only daughter of the Duke of Oriflamme, who fomented revolt against her father's plans to fortify Northreach at the townspeople's expense. After the Duke is convinced of the error of his ways, the two are reconciled and pledge to work together with the people of Northreach to build a town for all her citizens. Eugene Havel, former Field Marshal of the Dalmatian Republic, at the insistence of his old friend and rival Byron Rossfield, he was convinced to return to the front lines in the defense of the realm, using his old military connections to bring the dissipated armies of Alestia back under control. The Cursebreakers, a unit drawn from those fighting age and martial training among the residents of the Hideaway who conduct operations to liberate bearers from slavery. Beginning in Sid's Hideaway, the Order has greatly expanded both its ranks and its operations since the move to Benomer. While Otto manages their activities, day-to-day operations are led by Doris and Cole. Potential new recruits must undergo rigorous training and pass an induction test before joining the Cursebreakers ranks. Northreach, a town which once acted as a defensive gateway to some wrecks holy capital of Oriflame. Not long after the skies took a turn for the omnious, and most of the old capital was lost to a Nefer flood, the Imperial High Cardinal arrived with designs to build a new empire, but at great cost of the citizens of Northridge. It was at this time Ultima's trolls descended upon the fields both north and south of the Great Wall, forcing those citizens to choose between in abandoning their town or fighting and possibly dying for those they loved. The people chose the latter, and after a hard-earned victory, the High Cardinal was finally convinced to join hands with Madame Isabel, and a modicum of order was at long last restored. Ai, estou cansado de ler, mas ainda tem muita coisa aqui para ler, né? The Dali Mill Inn, a literal oasis, Dali Mill offers goods, food, and respite to those travelers who make the long march through western Dalmacia's sweltering Valkyrie desert. Since the fall of Drake's Fang, however, what was once a constant flow of visitors has tried to all but a tickle, leaving in the town in dire straits and tensions amongst its citizens high. When faced with a horde of Akashic bandits beating at both their gates, Lubar, renowned blacksmith, convinced the town guards and its league for merchants to put aside their differences and join hands to fight for our people's survival. For his accomplishment, he earned not only the respect of his peers, but with it the position of mayor despite being a bearer. Karantina, a humble settlement situated at the far northern edge of western Dalmacia's Valkyrie Desert. No longer banned by its original residents, the so-called League of Outlaws has taken up residence here for a time, but the sudden arrival of a Nefer flood rendered the bandits Akashic, all but sealing the village's fate. Balmung Dark, a Colosseum-like prison located immediately north of our Ravenwit walls in the Kingdom of Alud. Bearers sent here became the unfortunate subjects of an ambitious military endeavor designed to train untrainable beasts of war. When the kingdom fell and the wardens lost their wills to the Ether, those same bearers who left in their cells to starve, which most did. Acho que li aquilo mal, mas pronto. Mikkelburg, a settlement situated in the south of Walud. After being abandoned by its former residents, it became something of a gathering place for followers of the Savior cult recently arisen on Ash, leading the Undying to dispatch an investigative mission there. Garnik, an idyllic mountain village in the kingdom of Alud, or at least what remains of it. Here, an old acquaintance of Hippocrates made his home, quietly amassing a vast collection of rare tomes before Ultima and Barnabas' machinations rendered the realm Akashic and stripped him of his very will. The Bad Batch Conservatory. A dilapidated orphanage for bearers that sits upon a hill overlooking the verdant plains of Greece in Walud. The children who lived here were not cared for, but rather experimented odds, enduring harrowing tortures designed to turn them into fearless, mindless weapons, and education that few would survive. Savior cult, a religion that has arisen in recent years in Ash, and which has its basis in the Circle of Malleus, an ancient faith whose followers worshipped Ultima as a god. It was popularized by King Barnabas Tamer of Walud, who spread its prayers and rituals among his people. Believers seek becoming Akashic as a means of achieving purity and of being freed from the torments of the mortal realm. Deixa-me só meter o comando a carregar, que o comando está sem bateria. Le, 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 le. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. The Trinity of 878, an alliance formed by Lord Byron Rossfield of the Seven High Houses in the comfort of his well-appointed mansion in Port Isolde. According to the agreement reached between in those he summoned to his aid, Lord Rossfield would take charge of supplies, Field Marshal Eugene Havel of military affairs, and Quinton of Lost Wing would handle political affairs. With these key angles covered, they hoped to lead Valistia forward on the path of unity. Given their home countries of Rosaria, Dalmatia, and Sambrac respectively, the name of the famed Treaty of Old all but suggested itself. Airship. Legend has it that people of the Fallen once sailed through the skies in the bellies of these ships, though all now lie shattered in silence on the surface below. The Invincible, in which Clive and his allies have built their new hideaway, being one such relic. So advanced was the Fallen's technology, it was nigh indistinguishable from magic, leading an historian of the early modern era to remember them as the men of magitech or men of magical technology. It is midstream to bring this technology back to life that humanity might take flight once more. The Deluge of Blood, a great war that occurred in ancient times between few who bear the blessing and the many who do not. It ended in a decisive victory for the unblessed masses and the signing of the Continental Accord, which cemented the systematic subjugation of the bearer minority. It was not until 100 years later that the first icons were to emerge, their human hosts being named Dominants after the savior to the streets after the savior myth of the Circle of Malleus, which held that the Lord's return would be heralded by the appearance of his heavenly servants, most wondrous and most dominant. Such was the awesome power of these creatures that the authorities had no option but to exempt them from the system of slavery, announcing them to be something more than a lowly bearer and deserving of the highest honor, lest they would side with their fellow oppressed and bring a second deluge upon the master's heads. Akashic, the irreversible change brought about by a living being's overexposure to ether. Creatures are stripped of any intelligence or sense of self they may once have had and become stuffed in life force, usually manifesting an extreme strength and aggression. Ultima's casting of the Primogenesis turned much of mankind directly, gifting Barnabas his Akashic army, and with the despair that a wrath he sought to strip their wills of the rest, making them in his eyes pure, like marble. The Executors, a shadowy cabal who controlled the